Hello and welcome back to the Coming of Cage podcast, your Nicolas Cage movie review podcast. I am one of your hosts, Derek, and your other host, Ryan, is over there in probably the same ears. I produced this in mono, so.
Oh yeah, I'm over here in your same ears. Over here, over here. Uh, If you have spatial sound on, you just freak the fuck out.
Or if you watched us, you just saw Ryan dart across the screen.
That's right. The frame rate can't keep up with me.
Got to get
Much too
those steps in.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We we've got a movie for you to talk about tonight, this week. We are talking 2011's Drive Angry,
we are.
which, if you've never seen, was shot for 3D. If you have seen it, I'm sure you figured that out on your own. But this movie is about, quote, a vengeful father escapes from hell and chases after the men who killed his daughter and kidnapped his granddaughter. Um, I suppose that's an accurate summation of the film. It stars, of course, Nicolas Cage as well as Amber Heard and William Fichtner. Those are the big three. Billy Burke is in it, and David Morse are in it. You might recognize them, but those were the big three.
Yeah, this
Ryan,
this was also nominated for two Razzies, so that's important to keep in mind. Worst actor for Nicolas Cage, and also he was nominated apparently this year for Season of the Witch and Trespass. As well as worst screen couple for Nicolas Cage and anyone sharing the screen with anyone sharing the screen with him in any of his three 2011 movies.
yeah, it's kind of rough. All three of those movies were nominated for both of these categories,
Yeah, I
which,
mean this was the time when this is like around the time it started his like the thing everybody thinks, and when they're thinking like, oh, Nick Cage is just doing movies for money, this is kind of the around the time when that was going on and starting. Um,
it
so
is.
yeah.
Now, to be fair, we watched Trespass and Season of the Witch. We did score those for those who may not remember or weren't listening. We gave Trespass a 9 out of 20, and we gave Season of the Witch a 12 out of 20. So neither of them were like trash. They were kind of middle of the road
Yeah, but when you're
movies.
talking about 100 plus Nicolas Cage movies, I mean, the
Yeah,
majority of the movies are going to be in the middle of the road. That's how an average works. So, you
that's
know,
that's true. That is true. I
if
just
they were
meant that,
all 5 out of 20s, then that would be the average.
I, I'm totally with you. I'm with you. I was just saying that for all three of these to be nominated for Razzies for the same things in the same year, I don't know
Apparently,
that
2011 was an amazing year for movies.
it
I
was a
don't know.
rough year. Yeah, rough
Yes.
year. Um, this one's got a 5.4 on IMDb,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna dive into it. So Ryan, why don't you kick us off?
Just to lead into this, I just want to be clear, like this movie is I don't even know what to say about. Okay, so I'm sure, most people of our generation are familiar with the movie Snakes on a Plane, right? Which
Mm,
is a movie that had, Oscar caliber actors, and a large budget, but wanted to be a B movie. I
right.
feel like
Yes.
this movie, while lacking maybe the amount of star power that that movie had and the total budget, it was trying really hard to be a B movie, like a trauma type of movie, and it didn't come. I mean, I see a couple of comments on IMDb saying that it's a B movie. I would not call this a B movie.
Yeah, I think it's
Like, can you picture Bruce
accidentally.
Campbell being in this movie?
I mean, I think it would have to be done really differently, right? Because to me, a B movie is a film that wasn't necessarily given the budget it deserved either. It was, rushed or thrown together. It was done kind of by people who maybe weren't fully professional yet, or they just had no money and were really scraping by, like the original Evil Dead movies, right? Like those were film school
Yes.
products and they were done on a shoestring budget with friends, right? To me, that's a B movie because it's done with heart and soul and passion, and they just don't have the resources that Steven Spielberg has. This movie has
If
a
anything, it
big,
had the budget was too high on this
right.
movie.
This movie had a ton of money, huge scale, big actors, right? And I think, I mean, I don't think the movie would have been good without this, but I think it also happened to come out at a really bad time when like 3D was being forced really, really hard. This movie is clearly shot for 3D. It is part of me thinks maybe it would have been more tolerable if I had watched it in 3D, if I had known that going into it and could watch it in 3D somehow, because it just looks so bad that
Yeah,
maybe
it's
it
hard to
doesn't.
tell if the CGI is just really bad or if that's the 3D or both.
It's
Because
probably both,
there are
but
specific shots where you're like, okay, this is clearly a shot for 3D. But then there's some
yeah.
of the shots, like towards the end, that big chase scene with a hydrogen truck, that just looks like bad CGI. And I don't think some of the parts of that scene would not have really made any difference in 3D. And we'll get to that. But
You're probably right. It's hard to say because, like, when you're watching 3D, unless you have an extremely good setup, the quality gets degraded by the glasses and the 3D effect anyway. And so maybe it wouldn't have appeared so bad because you're getting, for those who don't understand, like, you're getting half as many pixels in each eye. So a 4K film becomes a 2K film. 8K in the theaters becomes 4K in the theaters. And so maybe it wouldn't have looked as bad, but I don't know. And
I
it's
don't think
released
there's
in
a
2D, but
universe where
you know.
anything in this movie looks good.
I mean, some of the cars look nice.
That's the other thing is I feel like this movie was just the director had seen Gone in 60 Seconds. He was like, well, I don't own an Eleanor, but I own these other two cars and I want to make them go up in value. So we're going to do similar shots between the two movies and I'm going to try and make my cars more valuable.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly a couple of moments, and I do mean a couple of moments where Nick's character is acting around the cars, much like his Gone in 60 Seconds character. But there's a lot of that. Like, there's a shot that's like clearly from Terminator and things like that. Like, there's a lot that's kind of lifted for this. But
Yeah.
and I hesitate to say homage because it doesn't feel
No, it feels like it's
like,
stolen rather than homage.
you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to articulate, but woof,
Yeah.
it's rough, man. This is a rough one.
Yeah, the guy that directed this also did My Bloody Valentine, Dracula 2000, and he wrote for Terminator Genesis. Um,
Interesting. Okay,
those are
this is
kind of his
Patrick
big.
Lussier.
Yeah, and I would say I'm not very. I've heard of his other movies. I would say I would not be inclined to watch anything else this person made. That's how much I didn't like the
Yeah,
general tone and like feeling of this movie.
I certainly wouldn't blame anybody for feeling that way. I actually was one of the few people who liked Terminator Genesis, but
But he was just a
you know,
writer on that, so that's a little
yeah,
different.
right. So I don't know, man.
It honestly, if I didn't know who did this, I would guess it's somebody that like really likes going to the mall and going to Hot Topic and like wears the Crow t-shirt and wants
Hmm,
everybody to think he's very edgy.
I can see that.
It felt like it felt like they gave a budget to a 17-year-old you know, want to be emo kid to make a movie. And I look, this guy is probably a lovely person, but this movie was just it was almost borderline one of those movies that's so bad it was good. Like, and I'm still on the fence about how I feel about that. But a lot of the content was just not good. Like, just it didn't need to be that dark and like I don't know. Yeah,
I
we'll,
think
we'll
that's
get into that. We should
yeah.
throw a trigger warning out here. There was like a pretty graphic sexual assault during this movie, and we're gonna talk about that along with some other like very adult themed things. So
Yeah,
if that kind of
definitely.
thing is triggering to you, then I would probably avoid this episode.
I agree. And if you're curious at all, IMDb has a pretty good guide on there for all of these things. It's a lot of really heavy stuff. And to Ryan, to one of your earlier points, like the so bad it's good or so bad it's funny, but the subject matter is so
Dark.
intense and
Yeah.
so dark that like I can't, like there's a few moments where I laughed. I don't know if I was supposed to laugh. But it's certainly no like Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness where it's so silly it's funny. This is too
I mean,
heavy.
there are moments of that in the movie, but yeah, the surrounding movie is a very heavy thing. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
And there's so much shit that happens in this movie that because if you haven't listened to the podcast before and you picked this one, or you picked a good one. Um, Generally, the way we do this is I try and take notes throughout the movie of like notable things or plot points that happen. This movie, I feel like I missed about a third of the movie because I was so busy writing notes down.
Oh
Because
wow.
everything this movie that happened in this movie was done extremely poorly or like notably in some
Yeah.
way.
How
And
many
so,
pages of notes do you have?
I don't feel like it's not that many, but like the I did like combine a bunch of notes. Like if there was a
Hmm.
lot of things happening in a scene that needed to be noted, I combined those notes together, whereas normally I would have just like given it a new line. So I don't know. A lot of things that I did notate a lot of things in this movie. It's also not that long of a movie. So it's like an hour
No.
44. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, just to get started into that before we go, too much on a tangent here. Uh, we started off with only two title screens, one of which being Saturn Films, which I'm surprised Nick put his mark on this, but Saturn Films is his production company.
Hmm.
Um, we get an intro scene that's the start of the really bad CG like environments, which I think is supposed to represent hell in this case, and kind of showing
Yes.
his character's escape from hell.
Hmm.
And apparently in hell they drive Buick Rivieras.
They drive classics too. It just I think it depends on what you can drive whatever you want down there, buddy.
That doesn't sound like hell.
Well, the way the movie describes hell, I thought was kind of interesting.
I mean,
Uh,
I think if you're gonna make me drive a Buick Riviera, then I might be in hell. But
oh
or
God.
A Buick of any kind. But if I get to pick, then that doesn't really sound like. And we should also preface this that Derek and I are both car guys, so we do have strong opinions on these type of things.
I do tend to like muscle cars more than you,
Yeah.
but none of my favorites are in this or
No, it's the
anything. But
cars they picked seemed rather arbitrary. Like Eleanor was a very specific and like rare car. And
mhm.
like the movies in this car, well, nice. I don't hate any of the cars in this movie, but they're just kind of normal cars.
Yeah, they're fine.
You could go to Cars and Coffee and see all three of these cars, and it wouldn't be that crazy.
Hmm.
All three of the like main cars that he drives. I mean, there's other cars in the movie, but
Right, right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the movie's called Drive Angry, and it's not until I would argue the final act that that even remotely becomes part of the story.
well, that's not true because the license plate of the Charger says "Drive Angry."
That's true. That's true.
The most on the
But
nose stupid shit.
it's not even his car.
Yeah, true. Okay, so then after he escapes from hell in this terrible CGI thing, we go to Laughter, Colorado. Actually, I don't know if it's a real place, but I assume it is. It's a weird name.
I don't know. Let's
But we
find
get
out.
a chase scene where Nicolas Cage's character is chasing these guys, and
Hmm.
he we see his weapon of choice, which is a one-handed pistol grip shotgun that has no recoil, potentially
It's a
because his
magic.
character is supernatural. That's
Yeah.
not a magic gun though. That's a
Oh,
normal
that
gun.
wasn't the magic gun. Yeah. No, because he's supernatural, right? Like he's dead. Spoiler warning. So he's got abilities. It's a little unclear exactly what they are, but he does have some,
Yeah, it seems to be just super strength and being able to fix a car by turning something three times on top of it when it's overheating.
and not dying
Um,
because he's
and not dying. Yeah. But yeah, we get this chase, and there's like really bad ADR throughout this whole chase. I
Mm.
don't know if that stood out to you at all. It stood out to me. But yeah, we get to see him use the one-handed shotty, and like so we play bingo, K-Joe bingo during this, and literally in the first 5 minutes of this movie, we got like 8 spaces on our bingo card. There was a period when we first developed the bingo that we were doing a lot of these like mid like 20 teens movies that were
Hmm.
all kind of had the spots for the bingo that we came up with for the bingo card that soon to be tropes. And this movie hit a lot of spaces.
It
I'm not
did.
going to spoil whether I got a bingo or not, but yeah. So we got we start seeing Nick and he's blonde, very like Kurt Cobain type of like edgy, you know, wannabe look. It's not his best look.
It's not. It also like didn't he have blonde hair in Gone in 60 Seconds as well?
Did he? Yeah, I think he did. He had definitely had like lighter hair,
Yeah. So I was wondering if maybe that was just another attempt.
maybe, but yeah, the hairstyle was definitely a different hairstyle. Um, we get he wears sunglasses, which is a bingo card.
Yep.
We find out that he's well at the after he kills these guys, he steals their money, so that makes him a criminal. Um, we get casual murder
Hmm.
all in the span of like a few seconds. That's also another. If we hadn't gotten to hear, casual murder is done throughout the whole film by him and several other people. So, um, but this is where we start seeing the terrible CGI because some of the gunshots in this movie look just
Yeah.
unbelievably bad, like really, really bad.
Hmm.
And then of course, the end of the scene, we get him walking away from an explosion without looking
Back to the
back.
fire, and yeah.
Yeah, the very typical like weird thing they did in the early 2000s.
But that's the title screen too. That's where we get the drive angry comes out on
Yeah.
screen in silver, you know.
Yeah, and then we cut to Amber Heard's character. This was long before her Johnny Depp lawsuit, um, before she was shitting in anybody's bed.
I barely recognized her, to be honest. But
Yeah, she was very young in this movie. But we get right away an awkward, what I would consider an awkward diner scene. It's literally says diner on the side, so we can't argue the semantics on this one. But she's a waitress there, and she's talking about how she's waiting for her boyfriend to propose, and that she's withholding sex from him, and that if she puts that thing by her face, then she's gonna bite it off until he gives her a ring. And there's like customers all around them. They're waitresses in a diner, and they're just talking about this with no problem.
no, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a
Um,
kid at a table.
yeah, yeah,
Fine.
it's not great. Um, so my next note. So we should also say that Derek and I do play D&D together and have for many years. And this scene was like the most generic D&D tavern scene ever, where you have all these
That's
like
funny.
normal people eating and like having their coffee or whatever, and then you have this one guy dressed in all black in the corner with sunglasses on, like not that they wear sunglasses really in D&D, but like holding his head as if he's in pain. And it's like, as a DM, you would be setting up the party to go obviously talk to this person because they're clearly the person you're meant to talk to.
That's
But
pretty funny.
I just thought it was funny because that was the only thing I could think of, was this is like a D&D tavern where you have the one guy the DM put in there so that the party would know who to talk to.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I mean Nick's character and William Fichtner's character, so Milton and the accountant. I mean, they both stick out like sore thumbs everywhere they go.
yeah, yeah, and they're clearly trying to make Nick like this edgy, troubled guy from hell that like he's just a badass. He just wants to fuck and like drink coffee and kill people.
I mean, seemingly.
And every single woman he interacts with in this movie, short of Amber Heard, wants to have sex with him and literally cannot contain their like desires.
Do you think that's part of his abilities?
I don't. I think that it's, if anything, it says something about the people he's dealing with, because the same waitress in this scene is also like trying to have sex with the accountant when he shows up. Unless it's just like a general hell thing, when you've been to hell, now you're like 10,000 times more attractive.
Well, that's kind of what I mean, right? Like maybe there's like an aura or something because it's
You're
supernatural that it
saying
gives
women
off.
are attracted to hell people.
No, but supernatural stuff. We don't like for because the accountant. My understanding about the accountant is he's not good or bad. He is neutral. He's just there to make sure
But
everyone
he's
is where
from
they're supposed
hell.
to be. Well,
So, which
he's
would imply he's something.
We don't know he's from hell. We know he wants to take Milton back to hell. He could just be an in-between.
That works for the devil.
That works for both sides. We don't know. Because
That
remember, the
wears
way
all
that's
black.
well, he wears a suit, but the
A
accountant,
black suit.
yeah, with a white undershirt. Like, keep in mind, like the way the accountant describes hell too is different. It's different than what we've seen it described as. He says it's basically a prison, and Satan is just like the administrator of the prison. So like, it's just a business. It's like a corporation almost that's running down there. So like, we don't know that he's good or bad. We just know that he's following the rules.
I guess so. So yeah, Nick orders like a coffee, and I'm pretty sure he says something like no sugar, and it comes out with sugar, or vice versa.
Other way around.
And the waitress is hitting on him. She's like, I get off at this time, and she's like, you could also make me get off, and whatever else. And so when he realizes that it doesn't have sugar and he wanted sugar, he literally like grabs her by the throat and chokes her and makes out with
Yeah.
her, which you could tell like very early on that this movie was clearly written by a man, um, or multiple men in this case, because this it comes across like a male power fantasy.
Not, I mean, in all the bad ways, all
Yes,
the
in
bad
like the
ways.
most toxic masculinity type of ways you can imagine. And
Yeah. I
she's
mean,
into it, of course, because you know that random waitresses that you've never talked to want to be choked and made out with.
yeah. I mean, he's supposed to be our protagonist here, but he also is from hell, so he's clearly not a good person.
Right. And this is like we talked about this series of movies he did that set up our bingo card in this. There was a lot of movies where he plays an asshole and everybody else around him is just worse, so that he
Right.
looks better by comparison.
Exactly.
And
That's
I
a
would
very
say this is
common.
probably one that would qualify.
Yeah.
Although like this is probably the most assholey he gets through the movie, but he's not really very nice. But most of the people he's being a dick to are worse. Like I said, so it makes him look like less of an asshole.
Well, right.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's that comparison.
yeah. Amber Heard's character gets like majorly sexually harassed by the cook. He comes out from behind the like cooking line or whatever and like rubs his body all up against her.
Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable, and she grabs his testicles as a response and tells him that she quits. And of course, she drives a 1969 Dodge Charger that's like in mint condition, in the middle of this hick town.
It is a
Well,
nice
I
car.
I call it a hick town. I don't know. Laughter, Colorado may be very nice, but the way it's portrayed in this movie is not so nice.
I
Um,
cannot find a record of an actual city,
okay,
Laughter,
so I'm not
Colorado.
gonna offend anybody then. But yeah, it makes sure to show us as she's driving away that the license plate says "Drive Angry" and that it also has a bumper sticker on the back that says "I brake for pussy."
Yeah. I mean, we do find out later it's her boyfriend slash fiance's car, and he's an asshole. So
Right, but she wants to marry a guy that has that on his car. Also, I found it really annoying that it says "I brake" and the number four pussy because there's clearly enough room on a bumper sticker to put the word "for."
that's where the movie loses
And
Ryan.
that's where it lost me.
And
I'm like, they're gonna disrespect like general, formatting.
I mean, I think part of what this movie is like she's not really happy with him. She was ready to break up with him, and she just, I guess, doesn't want to be alone.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
Nick
I guess is
notices
the
the
thing.
car before she leaves, and he's like, "Whose car is that?" And of course, it's Amber Heard's car, and he figures that out. The other waitress tells him, but luckily for him, she breaks down some ways away from the diner, and he just happens to be waiting in the woods right where it happened, which maybe is part of his hell powers to cause cars to overheat. I don't know.
But here's the question: how did he get there so fast? And if he can get there that fast, what does he need a car for?
Because he has to drive angry, obviously.
To be fair, he does everything angry in this
Yeah.
movie.
So yeah, she breaks down, overheating. There's smoke, typical smoke coming out of every part of this charger. And then he walks out of the woods right next to it and is
Perfectly.
like, "I can fix this for you." She's like, I'd really appreciate that. And he's like, but you have to give me a ride. Okay. And she's like totally fine with that. So he, as a car guy, it doesn't show what he does, but we can see him reach toward the center of the motor and move his wrist like he turned something, and then the car is fixed. And they're ready to drive. Which, I mean, the laws of thermodynamics would support that this is not how you would fix this situation.
It's got to
There's
be his powers.
I
It
can't
has to
think of a
be.
single thing he can turn. Wait, so you're saying hell gives people powers to cool down engines,
No, no, I think he used his powers to overheat the
but
car.
that
And
he how did he cool it down so fast that where it's safe to drive?
I'm just saying, like, it's his powers. Like, that's the thing. Like, what he can do
So
is
everything in this movie is just going to be described by he has hell powers.
but I think that's the sad answer because it's not
No.
explained. None of it's
I think
explained.
they just don't care about those parts of the story and explaining it,
That's very possible.
and you're giving it too much credit.
No, no, no.
Um,
I'm not giving it credit. I'm saying that's a bad reason. That's a bad answer.
yeah. So after Nick leaves uh the diner, the accountant, we get kind of introduced to the accountant. He shows up here looking for Nick Cage's character. And he cannot stop staring at the waitress's breasts the whole
Yeah,
time
I
he's
mean, he's
talking.
totally creepy.
He like is talking to the chef and calls him some names, and every time he turns back to the waitress, he's staring at her breasts. And I mean, that's by design. It wasn't like the actor slipping and looking down. They clearly told him, now you're going to look at her breasts the whole time.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is also William Fichtner. Like, he's not like he's a very good actor. So,
Yeah,
you know,
he wouldn't slip like that. We've seen him in a lot of stuff. He's
yeah,
great.
this was on purpose.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So they show up at Amber. So Amber Heard gives him a ride to her place where he walks away.
Yeah.
She picked
Uh-huh.
up a strange guy on the side of the road who magically fixed her car and decides the best course of action is to take her directly to where she lives.
She said she was going to take him to a truck stop, but no, right up into the front of her apartment
Yeah,
or
literally, she
townhome or
pulls in
whatever.
front of her place she lives and he just walks away.
Yep.
And so she goes in and we get another couple of bingo slots here. She walks in on her
Yeah.
boyfriend uh cheating with another one, or perhaps maybe the woman, maybe he was just watching or something. I don't know. It's unclear, but she's clear seems to be having sex with him.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening, buddy.
Presumably he had a choice and decided to do this as well. Um, but in this movie, it's who knows. Um,
I think we get the woman on top
we
sex
got the woman on
bingo
top sex
square.
bingo square
Yeah.
and nudity because her boobs are out the whole time. Even when she gets thrown out of the apartment by Amber Heard, they keep her clothes off. Don't give her anything to cover up the entire time.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's cheating on her, and so she's like, "Nah, fuck you, I'm out." And she goes to take the car. Um, we find out. So he says, "That's my car," and she says, "Who's the one making payments on it?" So for some reason, these people that are clearly not well off because she barely has a job half the time and he doesn't have a job are making payments in 2011 on a 1969 Dodge Charger. Now,
Yes.
I think I understand why these people are broke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the guy makes good choices in general, and I think she
Also,
was
who
desperate.
finances what company, tell me, would finance people that don't have jobs or bad job history, presumably on a 19 first of all, it's hard for people with good credit. It would be hard for somebody with good credit to finance a 1969 Dodge Charger because it's very specialized companies out there that will finance classic cars.
I mean, honestly, it's probably like a predatory loan place. Probably. I mean, because that there are groups like that that
Like
take
maybe they
advantage of
got a
people.
personal loan and used it to the car, but I don't know. The whole thing is was weird. They clearly did not think that through very well. The characters or the people writing the movie.
Yeah.
Like they
I
could have
don't know
just
why
said who paid for it. You know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
it's also
And it
not
would have been
even
fine.
needed. Like, just remove the bumper sticker and have it just be her car. It doesn't change anything.
No. But I mean, why specifically say that she's making payments on it?
I
You
don't
know?
know.
I don't get it either. We find out that Nick has this weird briefcase that smokes.
Well, it's a hell briefcase, Ryan.
It's a hell case. And yeah, I'm assuming that the smoke was a cool 3D effect at the time or something. I don't know because
Probably.
it looked bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so this is where we get the cult leader introduction kind of. We get this kind of flashback scene when Nick opens the briefcase where we don't know time period or anything really about when this happens, but what we see is a woman with a baby
Mhm.
and this cult leader guy coming in with some goons and then taking the baby and him forcing her onto her knees to give him oral sex. She bites his penis off or bites it and damages it, something along those lines, and he
I think it's
murders
the
her.
former based on the rest of the movie.
It would,
Uh,
yeah, it is implied that he got his dick bit off, but he immediately slashes her throat.
yeah.
And Nick is seeing this happen in like a memory, so it's unclear exactly what relationship he has to these people or what exactly the relation is, but we will
At
find
this
out
point.
throughout the
Yeah.
course of the movie.
Right.
Um,
For a minute, I was confused, and I thought that was supposed to be like young Nick Cage, the guy, like the guy that she was with,
yeah,
and like, but he looks nothing like.
no, yeah, it was
It's
confusing. Um, we got a lot of green screen driving in this movie. I don't know if you had it on our
a
bingo card.
ton.
I don't think I had it on our bingo
It's not
card.
on mine, no.
Um, then we get another. They're her and him, Amber Heard and Nick decide to travel together because Nick beats the shit out of this guy and drops an
Well,
air
because
conditioner on his head somehow.
that's unclear. So yeah, so there's a fight. She's punching the shit out of the for her now ex, and then eventually he hits back, and it's pretty brutal. And then Nick steps in, beats the dude's ass, and then yeah, the guy falls, and then the window AC unit falls out, and from the way it's shot, we're supposed to believe like crushes his head, but he seems fine when we see him next. So
Well, he does have a
I
little bit
don't,
of a bruise on the back of his head, so
I
I
get
don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like that would have done more, at
Again,
least broken his nose or something.
sure, but you
But
would also think Amber Heard, after getting the shit kicked out of her like 20 times in this movie, would have a bruise or something on her face. But no, her makeup and hair is perfect every time we see her.
she has a
So
cut lip for a little while.
yeah,
It
yeah, but
goes
she
away.
literally gets punched in the face multiple times by grown ass men,
Oh
and
yeah.
maybe has a bloody nose for a little while, but then wipes it
Sh
away, and her makeup is perfect.
I mean, she fights a lot. The fight scene in the RV, like, it would be difficult for a person to like walk around after that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, so they decide they drive away, and I guess they're heading towards. She wants to go to Florida, and he needs to go to Louisiana, I think, and so that's where they're
Yeah.
headed. And they stop in Oklahoma, I think it was.
Yes.
And there's not a diner so much as like a country bar.
I think it's
Um,
attached to like a hotel. It might even be a casino or something.
and there's another waitress here that's completely horny for Nick.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it has to be some supernatural something. Like, because the
But
accountant also
also,
gets like the cops to do stuff for him. It's like this like aura that they give off.
but I think you're giving it too much credit. I think that this is just
Maybe.
again a male power fantasy. But also Amber Heard is insanely horny for a random guy
I
that
mean, I
you just see her
guess
wandering around. They don't even share a word, and
fist fights and driving. That's all it takes, man.
she goes up and he's painting her nails
Naked,
and
by the way. He's
naked,
naked.
and he's like, "Are we gonna have sex?" And she's like, "It depends on how good you do my nails." So
Yeah.
there's that. I feel like
She
that's got to be like the guy who made this as a foot fetish, and that was his Quentin Tarantino
maybe.
moment or something.
I am curious what the conversation was because she's fully clothed and he's completely naked painting her toenails. So I'm kind of curious how that happened. Like, I just want to know how that conversation went.
Yeah, my next note was shots made for 3D release because at this point I hadn't realized that this was a 3D. It's supposed to be a 3D movie. But
Mm,
then there was some shots involved here that were very like obviously 3D or supposed to
yes.
be 3D.
Yeah.
That they didn't add anything to the movie, which is the worst type of 3D.
This was that era though, man, where they were just really trying to force like home 3D TVs and stuff like that, and so they're just trying to shove 3D in every movie they could.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I think after this, the where I had the shots made for 3D was when the accountant went to the ex-boyfriend's house.
Yeah.
He shows up there and he's asking about what Nick and the ex-girlfriend, since she's traveling with him, and what the car was. And he like pins the guy to the he like there's a lot of baseball bat swinging and shots to take advantage of that in 3D. And eventually
Yeah,
he like
going out and
impales the guy with the piece of the bat that he broke in half on the wall.
yep,
Also, if you have bad
just
action
gross.
scenes on your bingo card,
No.
that would definitely qualify. I feel like we're
Yeah.
missing a lot of the old squares
Well,
on the
we've changed
last few.
squares a lot over the years, you know.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so he ends up killing that guy, and then two cops show up, and he flips this coin in the air, and every time he catches it, it turns into an FBI badge. And so now that everybody magically believes he's FBI, why did he need the
Uh-huh.
badge if he could just convince them he's FBI? But he has the badge, and they go in there and see the murder and are like, "Oh, sure, we'll help you find this guy."
Yep.
And then
Uh,
we get the scene of Amber Heard with getting her nails painted or whatever, doing her nails, the guy doing her nails, and then it cuts across the room because she hears banging on the wall, like sounds of
mhm.
sex from another room, and so it cuts across to where Nick is fully clothed, other than seemingly unzipped, while a completely naked woman is bent backwards, arched into the air, having sex with his penis.
Like you do.
Yeah, because no other part of him is involved.
No, not at all. But he says something about that because like she makes some comment and he's like, I never undress before a
I never
gunfight.
disrobe. Yeah,
No, just
before
whatever it
before
was.
gunplay, I think it
It was
was.
really funny. It was really
But
funny.
yeah, so she is, and he's stoic. He's smoking a giant cigar.
Hmm.
He has his sunglasses still on, and is making no face as if he's enjoying this in any way. But she is like bouncing up and down and doing her thing. And all I could think of during the scene was like, this guy's got to have a hog because there's no way that that would feel good for that woman unless he's just like, because just I was thinking of like the actual physics of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
and how women's
It's a
bodies work.
it's a hell penis, Ryan.
It's gotta be that dude. Yeah. I was hoping that we would get full frontal at some point just so I could gaze upon its wonder of what this thing must be. But anyway, you know, I spent too much time thinking about how big the penis must be for this scene to work.
I think
But
so.
listen, I take my sex scenes very seriously.
I
I,
know.
I
I
want
know you do.
realism. I want realism, and I didn't get it this one. Um, and so Amber Heard presumably doesn't have sex with this guy and wanders off and sneaks off back into the bar for some reason.
Okay, so this begins my what the fuck is she doing in this movie line because at this point I'm like, okay, so she's trying to escape her ex and she's gonna let this guy tag along because he defended her, like, fine. But now she watches a creepy dude go into the closed, like, main building, the restaurant that they were in earlier in the middle of the night. And so she leaves by herself, keeping in mind she had just gotten her ass kicked like earlier that day, to go follow this guy into this space.
Yeah,
Now obviously she has no idea what's going to happen later or anything like that. But like it doesn't have to be a supernatural satanic cult for that to have been a bad idea.
agreed. But she goes in there and she's like looking around, and then she hears some commotion at the door. So she goes and hides. And it turns out that the cult that Nick had been looking for is right here, looking for him.
So convenient.
It's extremely convenient. The cult leader is there along with like 12 goons. And
Hmm.
they all have They all have different weapons that make very little sense for the most part, because they're given direct orders to murder this guy.
There's some guns, there's some crowbars. There is like
Various farm implements.
yeah, there's some farm implements, but there's also like a taser staff. I don't know what you call that, but a taser stick. I don't know.
Yeah, like a cattle prod, kind of.
Kind of, but it looks fancier.
Yeah. So yeah, the cult leader is like, all right, go kill him. He's in this room. And the girl he's traveling with is in this room. And so she hears all this, and he somehow detects she's in this room. And when he goes over to look at where she is, she's not there. But it's unclear how she got away, like out of the area, or where she really like what happened there.
It's there's so many movie tropes in this thing, man. I hate the whole someone's hiding in a spot and the second the bad guy looks, they've magically vanished. It's in like every freaking movie. Like I just can't. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this is where it cuts back to Nick, and this is where he says, "I never just rode before a gunfight or gunplay or whatever he says," which was one of the best lines. And I'm going to go out on a
Yeah.
limb and say that the scene that follows, we've watched how many movies now? This is episode 108, so we're at 106 Nicolas Cage movies, right?
No,
The
it's
math is
fewer than
correct.
that because of the
Spider
Spider
Noir.
Noir
Okay, so
stuff.
like
Yeah,
103, 104, somewhere in there.
something like that.
That this scene is the most outrageous sex scene that we've seen in any Nicolas Cage movie, and possibly any movie, period.
That's interesting. I don't know. Zonderlee had some pretty crazy sex scenes in it. Um,
I don't think any of them are on the level of this sex scene. Because here's, listener, if you've not seen this movie, what follows is a full slow motion gunfight while Nick is fully penetrating and carrying around a fully naked woman.
that's true.
It's probably 3 minutes where
It's ridiculous.
he does not exit her. He's at full penetration the whole time.
We don't know that.
It he keeps her hips at his crotch
I
the
know. I
whole
just
time. It's presumed that he is still having sex. Also, her reactions when he gets tased seem to be that of pleasure.
interesting.
He is like all these guys come in with farm implements and whatever else, and he's killing all these guys while this woman, this poor woman, is attached to him at the penis, and he is just blasting away at all these guys. And
Yeah.
at one point, he runs out of ammo, and so one of the guys with the taser stick, like, tases him, and he's rolling around on the ground while still she's attached, and she has like her eyes roll back in pleasure.
Yeah.
And somehow I don't remember exactly what happens, but it's still in slow motion, and he kills that guy and the other guy too, and that comes in afterwards. Everybody's dead, but
Everybody's dead.
it's a full slow motion scene of full penetration gunfight.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's one of the weirdest. It's probably the weirdest sex scene I've ever seen in a movie.
It's certainly strange and complex and like just wild.
Yeah, and I don't know why it needed to be that way, but again, I think it's supposed to appeal to the male fantasy. Like that's why he's fully clothed, and she is in the vulnerable position, and he's not really shown to like. I didn't really get the vibe that he was protecting her in any way. I
Hmm.
mean, she survived, but he seemed more like he was just moving to try and kill these guys rather than to protect her. Because if he was trying to protect her, one would presume that he would remove her from his penis and put her behind the bed or something where she would be less likely to be shot or stabbed.
Theoretically.
But instead,
Must have been
he,
difficult to film this. I will say that.
for a lot of reasons, I would say yes.
Yeah.
And I
And I
feel
mean,
kind of
yeah,
bad for the woman that has to be completely naked for
the
this.
whole time.
Probably took a whole day of shooting.
It took a while. There, I mean, it's about, like, can you imagine how many takes some of this was? And they had to reset everything. Like, yeah, I'm sure it took forever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So
it's kind
then
of a
we
wild
find
scene.
out. yeah, after this scene, we find out that the woman that was raped in the previous like flashback scene was Nick Cage's daughter. Um,
Yeah,
which is, dark. And this is right after a scene that full sex scene. It's very weird timing. Um, so he leaves, or they get in a gunfight with the two cops and the accountant guy, and
right.
they leave to escape in the Charger, and uh the accountant guy takes the cop car, which is like an early 2000s Chevy Impala, nothing special, but
Right.
somehow they keep talking about like specifics about all these cars he drives in this movie. Like this Dodge Charger's a 440 Hemi, whatever.
Right. Hmm.
And somehow this 3.6 liter Chevy Impala keeps up with that char catches up to that Charger that
Again, man.
they were presumably driving at a with their foot to the floor trying to get away. But this thing catches up no problem.
I'm telling you, it's hell powers. It's
So
supernatural,
why isn't
whatever.
Nick's hell powers working?
Well, he's not the accountant. The accountant is clearly more powerful than he is. I think that they show that,
I
right?
guess.
Because the accountant really is only worried about the God Killer gun. Other than
So the
that,
hell powers make cars faster.
I don't know what the rules are.
Or makes cars slower, I guess would be the alternate version. Because so he catches up to Nick and they are locked side by side for a large amount of time, going the exact same speed. Nobody is outpacing anybody. It's ridiculous.
It's a
And
while, yeah.
they literally have like a full conversation
Uh-huh.
while driving at what would appear to be a high rate of speed. Um,
Yes.
So apparently the Impala is only faster until it catches exactly the Charger's speed and location, and then it is the exact same speed. And
Because I'm
this is where
telling
we
you, he's
discover
making that happen, man.
this is where we, dude. Okay, I appreciate your optimism, but I don't think any of that is true. I think it just didn't care. But we find out that Nick has a gun that he stole from the devil because apparently an all-powerful demigod or whatever needs a mechanical pistol that shoots magic bullets.
It is very unclear what the rules are in hell or the afterlife or whatever. It reminded me a lot. Did you ever see the live action Spawn?
I did, yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Like a less good version of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was weird. But anyway, apparently this thing shoots magic bullets that when somebody gets shot with the bullet, they don't go to heaven or hell. They just kind of go to purgatory, I
Yeah.
assume. It's
Or
unclear again.
nothingness, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he shoots at the guy. And again, the rules are not clear because the bullet hits the dude and it grazes his face, but he is unaffected.
He's
So
affected. He's got a scar there the rest of the movie.
right, but I'm saying he doesn't go to like this nothingness place. So I guess in the rules of this world, you have to be full shot, like it has to go into your body.
Yes, because it does miss him technically. He's burned by like the air waves around the bullet,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, again, the rules that are not explained. We don't really understand it. The accountant was he supposed to be like an angel or a fallen angel or a demon or something? We don't know.
Well, when this guy gets shot, like grazed by this bullet, Nick takes advantage and like knocks him off this bridge.
Yeah.
So apparently, this guy's devil powers allow him to go really fast to catch up to Nick, but it doesn't stop him from flying off a bridge.
I guess he was distracted by getting injured. He's probably never been injured before. I don't
I
know.
guess I don't know. But
I'm
he like
trying.
flies off this bridge. I think you're trying too hard, and you just need to recognize that there's no powers.
I
Um,
like the actor.
I get it, but the actors need money too, and that's clearly what was going on here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the Impala just like lands below the bridge, like I don't know, 100 feet or something, and some stoners show up out of nowhere and find the wreckage of the cop car, and they're like, "This is cool. Let's smoke."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Is
Yeah.
there a body in the car, you think?" It's like, guys, this if you're smoking marijuana in 2011, it's probably not legal where you're at. You're you're outside
I
of a
mean,
cop car that's probably got a dead cop in it.
based on where they are, I don't think it's legal now.
Just there you go.
Yeah, they're in Oklahoma or
But I'm
Texas or
saying in
something.
2011, it's definitely not legal anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're like, "Is there a dead body in there? I don't know." And then the door comes flying. Now, keep in mind, this guy's so strong that he can blast the door off of the hinges, a car door, which is like really thick hinges. It would
Yeah.
take a tremendous amount of power to do this. It hits one of the stoners and what takes him out. And we're like, that guy is definitely dead. And then the stoner gets back up and is like, "Why'd you do that, man?" So if this guy does have hell powers, the stoner has stronger powers.
Um,
Unless you're going to tell me that the hell powers stop him from being able to kill people, but that doesn't make any sense. Or that the he can slow down the physics of this door so that it didn't kill the guy for some reason. Even though he kills so many people in the movie, I'm just
the
saying
only
this.
thing, the only thing I can think of is what's followed up after that, where we find out that the accountant is kind of like the Grim Reaper, and he knows when we're all going to die, and he's the one who comes and collects our souls.
How does
And
that work when
so,
he actually kills people, though?
so the question then becomes like, is that the natural order of things? And so in this case, the guy didn't die because he wasn't supposed to die yet,
Except that earlier when he killed that the ex-boyfriend, it seemed like he was going to walk away and let the guy live. And
but then he
then
didn't.
he
And
made a comment and turned back around and killed the guy. So if he was the Grim Reaper and knew that this was this guy's time to die, why would he have acted like he was going to leave? Because that was done for the audience, us only.
yeah.
Unless he knows that he's a character in a show or in a movie, and his powers are like, okay, we're that's too far, too
I
far.
don't know, man. I don't have a good answer for you.
Um, we so the Nick and Amber Heard get away, and they stop at this church because the one guy got away from the gunfight they were having with those cops, and they see the vehicle, which is very undercover, giant black minivan with flames on the side. That's easily recognizable to literally anyone. They see it parked outside this church, and they're never like, "This could be an ambush." But they go in, and guess what? There's a sermon happening with the cult leader there. And he walks in with his pump shotgun and is surprised when the entire church is armed and holds him and Amber hostage.
So this is where like I think the whole Nick plays an asshole continues through the movie because he continues to put I forget what her character's name, Piper. He continues to put Piper in severe mortal danger
Not really, because
constantly.
he said stay outside, and she did not stay outside.
I mean, yeah, but like he also doesn't need to be bringing her along for this.
It's
He's
her car.
choosing what? Well, it's her car, but he's driving and he's abducted her then essentially. If she has to go with him because he's stolen her car, like
Well, he
again, that
also
makes
puts
him an
the fear of
asshole.
God into her because he's like, "You killed two cops."
Yeah, like I just feel like he's been very
Yeah, I'm not
manipulative.
arguing with
Uh,
you. I think he
Yeah,
is an
that's all.
asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um.
all.
So yeah, it is an ambush. We get some like lore about the church leader here or the cult leader here, where apparently after this thing happened with his daughter, Nick's daughter, after he raped her and slit her throat,
Yeah,
he removed her leg bone, her femur, and had a cane made out of it. And
yeah.
he uses this cane throughout the movie. That is some incredibly dark shit. I don't understand how anybody in the cult is like, yes, this guy is good. I should follow him.
I mean, the idea of this cult though is to bring hell to Earth. So I don't think these are good people. I
I
don't think these are
guess.
people who are like being misled about what their leader is trying to accomplish. His goal is to bring hell to Earth.
But I think
You know,
taking someone's daughter's leg bone
yeah,
and making a cane out of it is beyond hell even. Like that is
it's disgusting.
yeah,
It's awful. I mean, look, but that's the thing, right? We have to create a bad guy who is completely unquestionably bad guy. There is not a single redeeming quality about this dude at all. Nothing.
I agree.
Right? He's a
Um
huge egotist. He's sexist. He's horrible. He's murdering and raping and like doing all these terrible. There's not a single good thing about him. Not one. There's nothing where you're like,
it's
oh,
true.
I see where he's coming from. There's none of that in the movie at all.
So they have Amber Heard by like with a knife to her throat,
Yeah.
and uh then the cult leader shoots Nick in the head, right through the
Right in the
eye.
eye. Yeah.
And yeah, he so let me ask you this, because we do have a bingo space. Would this qualify? You know I'm going to bring this up. Would this qualify for I mean Nick is dead in the beginning of the movie.
So let's discuss.
Let's
The
not get
square
too deep
is
into it.
no, we
But
don't have to go too
yes.
deep, but the square is Nick dies by the end. He is dead by the end of the movie.
And presumably he's dead here.
Well, he's dead the entire movie. That's
Right,
the
but
thing.
but I
There's
mean he
not
gets re-killed here.
well, but does he like I
But
don't
then
know
he
that he
heals
does.
again.
I don't know that he like you can't die if you're dead. You can't, you know what I mean? Like if you're dead and I shoot you, you don't die again. That's a quote from some movie. I think it's like Scary Movie 3 or something.
Right, but if
Like
you are but if you're walking on Earth and breathing and bleeding, then I would
he's
consider that alive.
but he's not though because he literally can heal himself rapidly and
But
he
healing
can't
implies he
die.
has living tissue.
Well, but
You
he's like
don't heal
immortal.
dead tissue.
He's like immortal though.
So immortals aren't alive?
I think it depends on the immortal. I think some immortals, like are not really alive. They're between
I think
worlds.
in the way I
Not to
interpreted it in
name one of
this
his other
case
movies.
was that he like came back to Earth alive, as in like any other superhero would be alive, like somebody with powers, and that he got killed. But one of his powers is that he can't really be killed,
Well, but that at the end of the
or
movie,
like
he
he can't
jokes
really
with
get
that.
killed permanently until he's taken back to hell.
But they talk about that at the end of the movie. Him and the accountant. He's like, yeah, like when you're dead, you can't be killed, kind of thing. Like he is dead. He might have living tissue that can regenerate, but he is already
So
dead. He
then
can't be
he die
killed.
by the end of the movie?
I would say yes because he's
Okay,
never alive in the movie.
I
So
agree.
okay.
Okay. That we did get into the weeds on that, so sorry for anybody that was too much.
I am annoyed at how long it takes him to get back up though, because Piper has been abducted now by an extremely aggressive, horrible group of men who are making terrible, terrible comments, and they're putting her in an
Oh,
RV. Like
he straight up says he's going to kill her and then rape her corpse.
I mean, a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that say bad stuff in this group of scenes here, and Nick is just lying there, and there's never really an explanation. It's not like he comes back with like a huge breath or whatever. He just kind of gets up. So could he have done that at any point, and he's just doing this for effect or something?
I thought it was his body like healing.
I don't know. It's not explained. It could be that he was waiting for them to leave to give himself a fighting chance with who was left because he knew
Maybe.
he couldn't take on everybody at the same time. But we don't know. It's not explained.
So the one thing that stood out to me in this whole scene, along with the chase that happens afterward, there appears to be one of the cult women that is using the Terminator's gun. Do you remember the in the first Terminator movie, the long slide pistol with the scope on it?
Yeah, is that really? I didn't
One of
notice.
I mean, I don't know. We don't really get any clear shots of it, but there's definitely like what looks to be a long slide pistol with a scope on it.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me because they also redo the Terminator Eye sunglasses shot from the
Right.
first Terminator too. So, like, that doesn't surprise
But
me.
what
I
a
missed it,
weird
but
gun to show up like in
it's
this
a
movie.
very it's a very specific gun, and it's one you would not expect like a satanic cult to have,
Yeah,
right?
I feel
Like,
like
because
it had to
where
be
did
like the
she get
director's
that?
favorite, like he just threw it in as an Easter egg, because there's never any like close-up shots of it. You just kind of see her using it, and it looks like a pistol with a giant scope on it.
You
And
know,
like, why would this cult need that specific gun? I mean, I don't know, but it was
to
funny to
me,
see.
Yeah, because everybody else has like very basic stuff. They either have the hand weapons that we talked about, or they've got like a basic shotgun or a basic handgun. I mean, the
Yeah,
main bad guy, whatever his name is, Jonah King or whatever, he's got like a revolver. Yeah,
yeah,
like they don't. None of them have fancy guns
right.
that would really stand out. That's a weird one. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can take a screenshot for you, so you can see it. Yeah, but the cult leader literally tells Amber Heard he's going to kill her and defile her corpse,
Yeah.
which is terrible. Um, but yeah, we start getting this chase scene with the Charger, like trying to catch up to the vehicle that they have Amber Heard in. Um, yeah, and my note was that director really wants the Charger to be Eleanor because there's a
Yes.
lot of scenes here that are very similar to Gone in 60 Seconds, but worse.
Well, he
Um,
even does earlier in the movie. He does the scene where he kind of walks up to it and like lightly like grazes it, kind of
yeah,
thing, like he does with Eleanor. Like, yeah, 100%.
yeah. I also noticed at this point that like so the cult leader shot Nick directly in the eye.
Yes.
Perfect aim.
Yeah, that was a
However,
great shot.
when Amber Heard is fighting all these guys in the camper, he can't hit her at all, and nobody can hit Nick. The aim in this movie is just according to whatever the scene needs. There's no through line of like accuracy. There's no one that's like a sharpshooter throughout the whole movie or like bad aim throughout the whole movie. They're all either perfect aim or terrible aim, depending on what the scene needs, and it's really aggravating.
Yep.
But yeah, my next note is her hair and makeup is perfect after multiple fights. Um, then so what she escapes from this group and they manage to like shoot the shit out of the Charger.
Hmm.
And so Nick's like, "Well, I have a record." Well, the car breaks down, and he's like, "Well, I have a wrecker friend around here. Let me call. Let me. You have a cell phone. Let me call him."
Yeah.
And so he calls this guy. Now, later we get a scene with this guy going, "I don't know how the hell you're alive," and he's in amazement that he's seeing this guy. However, he just got a phone call from this guy before that ever happens, and he's like, fine with it. He doesn't ask any questions then. He waits until they're back at his place to question it.
I
Also,
mean, he does kind of question it when he gets there because he's got his gun hidden behind the door, and Nick uses his hell powers to tell exactly what kind of gun it is.
also when the car breaks down, Nick is like, "Well, we need to hide this car," and she's like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, because you killed two cops." So then we get like two scenes of them just pushing the car, but their friend drives a wrecker, and they never hide the car. They just push it, and he shows up with a tow truck.
Uh-huh.
So why did they need to push it anywhere?
Don't know. I also
Exactly.
don't know why it matters if the cops find it on the highway. They already know what
Right, what
direction
the
to
car
go.
is.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
that's not it's there's no revelation there.
yeah. Yeah, and then after like Nick never really explains what's going on. He just says, like, you heard what happened to my daughter. And the guy's like, yeah, and he's like, well, then you know why I'm back. And the guy's like, okay, cool. That's all the explanation this guy needs is that the guy's daughter got raped and murdered, and now people can come back to life from dying.
Look, Piper kind of is fine with it pretty quickly too. Once she figures it out and she's like, "Oh, you're dead from hell." She's like, bummer, man. Like it's just,
Bummer. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I can't remember. Like, yeah, it's the most casual conversation.
yeah.
Um, yeah, his eye heals. So there's like it goes overnight and it gets dark and light again, and Nick is just standing at a fire in a barrel watching it.
Again, very Terminator.
Yes, and he takes his bandana off and it shows that his eye that got shot out is healed, but it looks a little different
Yeah.
for some reason. Apparently, hell powers can only like give you a random looking eye. You can't get your
Well,
original eye back.
Ryan, everybody knows that when you regrow an eye, it has to be a different color.
Yes, because that's how genetics work. So they're like, well, we got to be out of our way, and he's like, well, thank God I'm here because I've got these cars I know you love, and he pulls the cover off two cars and is like, I think you're always partial to this one, and the other car is just like, why am I here?
They're both in pristine
Well,
condition.
I think one is a Camaro SS and one is a Chevelle SS. And he's like, "You're
Yeah,
always
blue and
partial to the
red.
Chevelle." And like the why even take the cover off the Camaro then?
Because I thought she was going to drive it. I thought they were each going to take a car. That's what I thought was going to
That's what I
happen.
thought too, but no.
You
Why
know,
even show the second car at this
I
point?
guess because he thought he was coming with, maybe, and he
I
was
don't
going to
know,
take
but
the
he
other
kept
one.
saying like ride together, and so I thought they were all gonna pile into one car,
I
but
don't fucking know, man. But it also is like, why does this guy have both of these cars in pristine, drivable condition, but he keeps them covered in a way that looks like they're in storage?
yeah,
Like,
it's
which is
weird.
it?
And
Like,
also, this is a wrecker, like junkyard. Why are
yeah,
they? Why does he have mint condition cars? And also, the shop that they're in is like beautiful.
yeah. It's I mean, he must be very successful, I
This is
guess.
like
Like,
one of the best looking salvage yards in terms of like the
ever.
buildings I've ever seen.
I don't know. I mean,
S-
so maybe they weren't in storage. Maybe those are just his cars, and he drives them around on the
Maybe it's
weekends.
like
I
his
don't know.
personal garage, and he also has the wrecking yard. I don't know.
Maybe.
So they're driving, and the cops are figuring out where they're going to be because there's a report about them, and so they set up a road like a blockade,
Right.
and the the like guy that's in charge of this blockade is like, I'm going to tell you guys to aim for their tires, and when I say that, I want you to aim for their heads.
Yeah. So why not just say that?
And all the cops are totally cool with just murdering these guys because they allegedly killed two cops.
Yeah, because Piper kills
These are
two
state
cops,
troopers.
state troopers. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. She does kill two of them. Well,
Well, she kills one, and
she
the
kills
other one,
one.
in his dying move, like pulls the trigger and hits his friend in the head.
Right. So I guess she's kind of one and a half. I don't know how you would. I don't know how the law works on that one, but
I don't
either
either.
way, yeah. So they're just cool with cold murdering them, but then they don't. When the car stops,
Yeah, they all
they
just
could just
stare at him.
shoot up the car. They
It
don't do
must be
that.
must be hell powers.
It must be hell powers. Yeah.
But thankfully, the accountant needs Nick to get through this. So he steals a hydrogen truck, like literally like a tanker full of hydrogen, and then
Well,
does
because
the most stupid ass fucking car scene I've ever seen, probably. With some of the worst PS1 level CGI,
it's bad, man. It's bad.
where he sends this hydrogen car sideways to take out all this blockade of cop cars. And as he's doing that, he opens the door and casually walks out of the hydrogen truck, onto the hood of another, I think it was a cop car or something.
Hell powers.
But it looks horrible. When I say PS1 graphics,
It's
I'm not
bad.
talking like Final Fantasy VII PS1 graphics. I'm like talking like bad game PS1 graphics. They do not look good. It's like 8 pixels on this hydrogen truck.
It is. It's really bad.
It's
But
horrible.
we did skip over that. Basically, the accountant finds out why Milton is doing what he's doing because at this point he didn't know. He's just a guy who escaped hell, and now that he knows, well, he's not going to get in the way. He's going to let Milton have his revenge.
Right. And so he presumably kills all these cops with the
No, he doesn't
hydrogen
kill the
truck.
cops.
Well, what does the hydrogen truck do? It just happens to miss all the cops.
Yeah, well, they're all out. They're all standing at the blockade. No one's in their cars.
So the hydrogen truck doesn't blow up or anything? Why
No.
is it a hydrogen truck then?
Oh, I think that's from Terminator as well. Terminator 2.
Oh my God,
I'm
stupid.
dead serious. I am absolute. When I saw him get it, like get that truck, I was like, they're doing another Terminator thing. Like that's
I
100%.
mean, I do remember a truck, the one that froze the guy, right?
Yeah, it was
But
liquid nitrogen, not hydrogen. But yeah,
yeah,
I think that's exactly what they were doing.
maybe. I assumed it like blew up or something and it was killed all the
It,
cops.
no, because it flips over those cars and crashes onto the SS, and that's it. That's the end of the scene. Now he
Got it.
blows up a couple of cop cars as he's running through, but the hydrogen truck doesn't blow up. It just
Gotcha.
flips.
Which seems like a waste to use a hydrogen truck then. Like you could use literally any truck or
I
a
assume it
car,
was because it was like the liquid nitrogen truck.
probably. So Nick gets through pretty easily and shows up at a naked cult party.
Yep. More nudity.
More nudity where women are just dancing. Well, attractive women are naked and dancing on things, where the unattractive women are fully clothed.
Wow, Ryan, that's harsh.
That's what the movie wants us to think, because it clearly shows the clothed women and the naked women, and there's definitely type difference between the two. I'm not a jerk for saying that you can tell a physical shape difference between the people that are naked and clothed. Um, I don't agree with it, or want to stick with that message, but it was clearly obvious what was going on here. Um, and this is apparently a party with like 50 cult members where they're going to sacrifice a baby. Everybody's there to sacrifice the baby because this is, and which is his uh granddaughter or
Milton's granddaughter, yeah.
granddaughter.
And it's a tiny baby. This baby can't be more than a few months old. So like this stuff has happened, I
He
guess,
made that
fairly
cane
recently.
instantly.
Yeah, which is even more gross. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so this whole movie, there's this game called Far Cry 5 that I like. I've played it a few times, and I'm actually currently replaying it, where you're a like sheriff that's dealing with a cult that's invaded Montana, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of similarities to this movie's plot. And all I could think of was like this whole scene was like a video game.
Yeah,
Um, so they're gonna sacrifice this baby to bring hell to earth, and we find out that the accountant is okay with this because if he stops this, then it's good for him, and if he dies trying to stop it, it's good for him. So it's like a win-win situation for him, no
right.
matter what happens. And so he lets him go in there, and we get a Chevelle jump, just like the
Hmm.
Eleanor jump, except less CG into there.
You mean more CG?
No, less. The Eleanor jump was like really bad CG. Also, I don't know if you remember that.
But I thought this one was worse.
Was it? I mean, okay, equally bad. But I think at this point we can probably say Nick wrecks a car, which is our bingo
Yay.
card.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, yeah, he's like driving this car in circles around the party and shooting people. And eventually
Yeah,
he
the car
gets
is on
out.
fire.
The car's on
He's
fire. All the glass is broken out. The car is just destroyed.
he's super good at shooting everybody except the one person he needs to shoot.
Exactly. And also, this person hands the baby off to the woman that's been taking care of the baby, and he literally opens a video game gun chest
Yeah. Yeah. It
with
was
like a
funny.
bunch of guns in it, and
The
it's like,
first one has like beer in it, and he kind of like rolls his eyes in exhaustion and opens the one next to
yeah,
it.
and it was so video gamey. It was like, oh my god, what they aren't even trying to be anything interesting at this
But
point.
it's not like he like loads up on guns and then starts shooting either. Like he just kind of stands there while Nick doesn't shoot him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's even shots where like he's in the middle of like a line of like six guys and all the other guys are getting mowed down and he's just unscathed in the middle.
Yeah, and so Nick pulls out because Nick is saving his magic gun for this guy. And so he shoots,
For
he
some
has
reason.
two, apparently the rules of this gun are that he only gets three bullets. And he used one to shoot, even though the thing has five chambers. Uh,
I think the idea is he doesn't know how to make more of these bullets is probably what it is.
I guess.
Um, because
Uh,
they're special bullets, but and I guess he wants to use the special gun on this guy because then this guy won't go to hell. He'll just cease to exist.
yeah, I guess. Which is apparently a worse punishment. I would think that's a better punishment, but in any
I
case,
mean, I
he
guess not
misses,
because if Nick can escape hell, how hard can it be?
I guess.
Because we're not told anything about the Milton character to make you feel like he has any set of special skills that somebody else in hell doesn't have. So how did he escape hell?
True. I don't know, but he did. Anyway, moving on. Barely an inconvenience. Moving on. So he shoots at the guy and misses and hits like some other random dude. And so this poor ass guy is just like gonna obliterate into nothingness because he was
Apparently.
in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I
But
mean, he
this
was at the
gun,
cult meeting, so
yeah,
I
so
don't
I mean
feel
he's
too
not a
bad.
good person, but like he at least would have gone to hell.
Yeah.
But this gun, the physics behind it are crazy. It has so much power that it knocks Nick like 3 feet back onto his back, and it
Mhm.
sends this guy flying.
Like 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, 30 feet into the air and like hits a trailer like way behind him. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And so I we should say that earlier in the movie, um, Nick made a comment about how he won't be done with this until he drinks beer from this guy's skull.
Right.
And you knew, and it was such a out of pocket line that you're like, okay, well, we know how this movie's gonna end now. And so, of course, Nick ends up hitting the guy with the magic bullet, his last one, and a perfect cup-shaped fragment of skull lands in front of him.
It's the only
No,
piece of him that survives
no
somehow,
skin of
magically.
him, no skin attached or anything like that, just pure bone.
It's a little
And
gross.
yeah,
He
Nick
doesn't even
drinks.
rinse it off, you know?
No, Nick drinks the blood, but he gets shot too. But he drinks
Sure.
beer out of it. And so the accountant goes and gets the baby from the lady that had the baby that was taking care of the baby and takes it from her and says, "Well, would you have let him sacrifice the baby?" Which is a good question. And
She doesn't answer.
yeah, she get the answer is it doesn't seem like she would have let him. Like I think that's what the answer would have like that he is implied in that moment. But she
But
doesn't actually answer. It's more like a look on her face.
here's the problem with that. Right before Nick jumps the car into the pit of cultists, the baby, she's already placed the baby on the altar, and the dude has the knife above the baby. If the dude was just like paused for a second and was like, let me finish my ritual and then we'll go after this guy, he would have won.
Yeah. If he just
So
stabbed the
she
baby
wasn't,
as soon as the guy showed up, yeah,
so like, she wasn't stopping him.
I agree that that's a problem, but it was an interesting query to ask.
Totally. I like the accountant character.
Yeah.
That's like, I think the best part of the movie.
So yeah, he's laying there with the baby and drinking the beer out of the skull, and he hands the baby to Amber Heard, and it's like, "This is why I picked you. I need you to promise me you're going to take care of this baby." There's been nothing. In fact, if anything in this movie, it's shown that this character would not be a good mother. She makes
No.
horrible decisions,
Terrible
but
decisions.
he thinks that this is the best one to raise his granddaughter.
Because I guess she's tough. And like, don't get me wrong, she is. She's tough. She can hold her own in a fight, you know, and I appreciate that. But she also makes absolutely horrendous decisions non-stop.
Yeah.
Now she's going to take care of this other, which, by the way, there's also a lot of logistical problems here. She still is responsible for the death of a state trooper, at least one, if not two. She has been fleeing the police. Tons of other felonies are involved, and now she has somebody else's baby that she has no papers for and is just supposed to raise with no money, no job, no car.
That's not true. She gets a car because Webster shows up when she leaves the
Oh,
jail with their
right.
charger completely fixed and back to normal.
I forgot. Yeah, sorry.
So she has
Yeah.
a car. And then Nick
But
dies,
well, he goes back to hell.
goes back to hell. Well, yeah, he gets picked
He
up by this guy by
the accountant.
guy, the accountant's car, but the
Yeah, it's like
accountant
an
lets
old
Nick
Chevy.
drive. But this was a point raised by my partner, I want to say. So shout out Marcy. He Nick goes, "Give me the keys." She said, "Why does a supernatural car that drives only to hell and back need keys?" Which
so
is a
people can't
fair
so people
point.
so people can't escape hell.
Having keys makes it so they can escape hell. If you just made it like coded to the guy's soul or whatever, then
They don't have a
nobody can
budget
use.
for that down there,
I
man.
guess
That's high
not.
tech stuff.
But they definitely thought that they were going to get a sequel on this because there's like an implication that Nick is going to get out again. He says, "If you guys put me in the same place, I'm going to get out again."
Well, but and the accountant's like, but you did everything you set out to do, and Milton's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's
So
like,
what?
I could do some other stuff.
Look, I don't know why I'm gonna get out because they haven't written the script yet, but I'm gonna.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very like Skeletor in the 1987 He-Man movie, like coming back from the dead.
It's it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then the accountant's like, well, I look forward to it. And I guess maybe his job is usually just really boring, and this is the most interesting thing he's ever had to do in the history of existence. But like, and then they drive back through hell in this like I don't know like a '53 Chevy or something like that, and the bridge destroys behind them.
For some
Does that mean
reason,
I don't know if that means that they turn the car around, the bridge rebuilds itself. I don't really know how that works, but they're back in hell, which looks like a worse version than the hell in Spawn.
Yeah,
And that's the end of the movie.
yeah. So usually at this point in the podcast, we look at some other user reviews of the movie, and just to make sure we're not kind of in our own bubble here, and that we were trying to look objectively at these movies. So with this movie, Derek, would you like to start with 10-star or 1-star reviews?
Let's start with the 1-star reviews.
I will say that there's 31 1-star reviews on IMDb and 21 10-star reviews. So
Interesting. That's a lot more than I expected for the 10 stars.
so the most thumbs up, thumbs down review on 1 out of 10 is from Kick-Ass Monk 94. It has 96 thumbs up as being helpful and 103 thumbs down as being not helpful.
Oh boy.
This has to be one, if not the worst film I've seen at the cinema. I knew this wasn't going to be amazing, but come on, it was so bad it made very little sense. Nicolas Cage looked bored the whole way through. His worst acting job I've seen to date. I've now made the decision to never see any more of his films after seeing this and knowing. He also had this ridiculous hairstyle, making him look like a Robert Plant lookalike to add to this ridiculous film. I swear his face didn't change the whole way through, just the same stupid expression, muttering unexplained storylines. You may watch the trailer and think, yeah, this will be great. Nicolas Cage and a blonde shooting people in a muscle car. No, wrong. It turns out it's just some nonsense about satanic worshippers and a guy breaking out of hell to get them. Really, Nick? Is this what you level you've dropped to? Oh man, this guy has no idea. I just have no words to describe how bad this was. At some points, there's serious violence, which is just stupid, and then it's trying to be funny and it fails, and it tries to be meaningful, just a blurry mess of rubbish. This film also highlights why 3D needs to stop. No, it's not cool. It's about 50 years old. Just because it's better quality means nothing and adds nothing to the film. Instead of every 5 minutes, there's a bullet or axe flying at you. Yeah, great. But I've seen it over and over again. 3D is only being pursued because they know they can charge you more for it and sell TVs like they did with HD. Well, I'm sorry, but 3D will not work. And if you don't believe me, go watch this film. 1 out of 10. Avoid this film at all costs. Don't waste your money.
That's rough.
Yeah, that pretty much hit the points that most of these say. I'll read one more here. Cled Better 2 said that this made a 5 hour flight feel like 15 hours. Stuck on an airplane watching whatever movies they have on the system, and this one shows up as a new release. So I start watching this, and after about 20 minutes, I just kept watching to see if it could get any worse. Well, it did. This is one of the most inane, embarrassing, pointless movies ever made. Just as an example of how stupid this movie is, at one point they need to hide the car because the law is after them, but the car won't start, so they just start pushing it to hide it somewhere. Except they're pushing it down a 4-lane interstate highway. Yeah, nobody will notice them ever doing that. Nicolas Cage must be broke, on drugs, or have a load of alimony to pay to be making movies like this. Seriously, don't waste
Oof.
your time. If you're stuck on an airplane, watch anything but this one. Lots of
Yeah,
Nick
that's
Cage
harsh.
hate, but, I think that he did what he was told to do in this movie. I have a feeling that this was mostly from the director, that was the reason why he was more stoic in this movie.
It's certainly possible. I mean, I do know that Nick wanted to shave his head and have like a full skull tattoo in the movie and was talked out of it.
That's a shame. Let's see here. Okay, so on the 10 out of 10s, the one that has the most thumbs up as being helpful is entitled It's From Too Cool to Be Fooled. What more can you ask for? Muscle cars, hot chicks, and action. The title says it all. This is a throwback movie to the 70s drive-in genre. Don't expect more, and honestly, that's enough. Sometimes you're looking for a smart movie like Traffic or Fargo. Sometimes you want terms of endearment, but sometimes you just want to grab a hot dog, some popcorn, Coke, and a real bottle, and get on the roller coaster for the simple thrill of it all. You're looking for good-looking cars, good-looking girls, action, and a chance to forget about reality. Shut down your brain and get lost in absurd fantasy. That's what this movie is all about. No deep message, just fun. I love the Charger in this flick. The Chevelle is nice too, but unlike the star character, I'm partial to the Charger. I would have liked to see it remain throughout the entire movie, but at least it's there for most of it. Nicolas Cage has been given a hard time lately for his choice of movies. I enjoy him in just about every movie he makes, whether action, fantasy, family, or some bizarre niche film like he's worked on. He always gives a solid performance. I hope to see a second one of these. Not likely, but I can hope. Well, review from 2011, I'm sorry to tell you. Unique Particle says underrated epic satanic badassness. I vaguely remember seeing this in theaters, and even then I loved it. This is an awesome Nicolas Cage flick among many of his beloved films. Even has one of my favorite actors, Pruitt Taylor Vince, in it, along with the gorgeous Amber Heard, David Morse, and darkly brilliant William Fichtner as the accountant. Patrick Lussier directed a cinematic experience with beautiful cinematography while being morbidly edgy, totally bonkers in the most fun, mindless way. Wow. Okay. There's so many things I disagree about, disagree with in that review. Uh, but we are hearing them out. Any thoughts on those, Derek?
I mean, I definitely agree with the one-star reviews saying that like this is a good example of why we need to stop making 3D movies.
Yeah.
Um, I think it is. I think it checks every box for why people got sick of that stuff. And I think there, so I really appreciate where that came from. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's a bad movie. It is hard for me to think how a person could rate this as even like a 7 or 8, let alone a 10.
Yeah.
You know, the story makes very little sense. The visual effects are truly terrible throughout. I like we talked about earlier. I can't tell if it's supposed to be funny at any point because it's so dark and it's so gruesome at times. Um, but there's also stuff that happens that is ridiculous, and so it made me chuckle once or twice.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you should also say that the gore in this movie is so over the top.
there's a lot of gore. I mean, especially like every time Nick shoots somebody, you have like somebody's hand got blown off and most of their leg got blown off. You've got the baseball bat scene in the ex fiance's apartment. Like, there's just a lot of really brutal
Yeah.
stuff,
Unrealistic, almost like cartoonish.
which is interesting because the when Milton's daughter is killed, it's implied that her throat is slit because it's off screen. We just see the blood splatter. And it's interesting given how much gore there is and how much violence there is that was where they drew the line.
Well, yeah, and they also didn't show the rape. Like they just showed her head moving back and forth below his
Sure.
waist.
Yeah, no, that's totally true too. So it's interesting where the line was
Yeah,
in this movie. I'm not sure if that's like to keep an R rating instead of like an NC-17 rating, maybe. Some of those
could be.
ratings can push you into that. So I don't know. It's a bad movie though.
Speaking of that, we you got to rate it.
All right. So 20-point scale, because he's in a lot of movies. Quality and caginess. Quality. Man, I'm thinking a 6 as
Okay.
high as I think I can go.
I was we're not far off. I was thinking a 7 because I don't think it's good
Okay.
enough to even hit the average mark for what his movies are. But yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for perspective, you gave a 7 to Looking Glass and USS Indianapolis, which also had shoddy special effects. The Frozen
I'll say that
Ground.
this was entertaining. And
Yeah,
like USS Indianapolis had a lot of problems, also entertaining.
agreed.
So just because it's a bad movie doesn't mean that I wouldn't watch it again. This one I probably wouldn't watch again, but like, it was entertaining. There's bad boring and bad still entertaining, and this was definitely on that
Agreed.
side of
Yeah,
it.
there's some stuff that he's done, like Rage, for example, I bring up a lot when we have these conversations, that was just also super boring.
Right. Or like Cotton Club and some of those, the
So now we've got
Crudes.
the Crudes, the Crudes. We're putting the Crudes and Drive Angry in the same conversation.
I'll put it in any conversation with a bad movie I can.
Oh man. So then we have caginess. I mean, there's some ridiculousness in here, but he's not overly cagey.
But I would argue that we have a bingo that's specifically made for tropes in Nick Cage movies. And this
Yeah,
movie hit a lot of those boxes.
it did. That's a fair point. I'm not saying it's a 0 or a 1 or anything like that, but I don't think it's too high. I mean, I'm tempted to just give it a 6-6 across the board.
Okay. I was thinking higher than that because I know it's not traditionally cagey, but the character he plays is played in such a ridiculous manner. Him being like so stoic while all this crazy shit happens, like the sex scene where he isn't doing anything.
That scene's pretty cagey. I think that one fits the bill, but that bumps it up a bit for me. I think the rest of the movie, he's not doing a whole lot.
I guess. I don't know. I th- there are I could see a world where people would be like, this is one of my favorite Nick Cage film because it's so absurd.
The movie is absurd, 100%.
But you're right that his character is not like traditionally cagey. It's tough because like in an absurd movie, he is the main character and the center of a lot of the absurdity. But he's
But
not
the
being his normal Cage, type of stuff we're looking for.
and the absurd stuff isn't usually the stuff he's doing outside of that one scene, the sex gunfight. Outside of that scene, the absurd ridiculous stuff is happening around him,
Yeah, that's true.
and
I
he's
still
just
think I'm going to
there
go a little
experiencing it.
higher than you.
Okay.
I think I'm at an 8 for the caginess. Like
Okay.
that one scene was pretty. Like I said, it's one of the most ridiculous scenes of any of the
It
movies we've
is.
seen.
No, it's a very
So,
ridiculous scene. I'm with you there.
yeah.
So there you go. So it's a 6.5 on quality and a 7 on caginess. It does keep it in the low quadrant. So it's hard for me to recommend it for anybody, but it is absurd. To be totally
I
fair, it
would
is absurd.
recommend it to specific people. Like it will depend on what
Yeah.
they're looking for. It's a tough one because of all the movies in that category, there's very few where I'd be like, I would rewatch that movie. But this movie, like, would probably, if I had to rewatch one from that box, this would probably be a contender because at the very least it was entertaining. You know?
No, I agree with that. I definitely do. I'm kind of just looking. I mean, I enjoyed Amos and Andrew. So I might rewatch that one over this. I thought that one was fun. Um, USS Indianapolis I thought was probably better than this overall. But yeah, not a lot. There's
Yeah.
not a
I
lot.
think for a specific type of person that they would really like this movie. But yeah, I think if we're just being objective in terms of quality, it's just not good movie. I'm
Hmm.
glad I watched it because it is ridiculous and puts a lot of things into perspective in terms of things we've seen in Nicolas Cage movies. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I do wish it had just been less gruesome and less dark.
I do
I
think
think
there's
if
an
it,
interesting story to be told here for sure, and it could have been much more interesting. But the made
I
for
think,
3D thing fucked a
yeah,
lot of it,
that does
and
not
then
help.
how edgy the direction was didn't help either.
It needed to be a less serious movie for this to work for me. And
It
I
could have
think
been a
even,
really good B movie, actual B movie.
yes, I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of it comes down to the King character. He's too dark and gross. He's too unlikable. He's got no real charisma. There's nothing like he's not over the top and he's not, there's no big monologues or anything. Like he's just very mean and disgusting.
I also
And
think going out on a limb that the cars should have been crappier cars. I think I'm
mm,
not necessarily crappier cars, but crappier versions of the same cars. I think would have made it
mhm.
more believable and like more B movie esque. Having mint condition
Yeah,
muscle cars like this just is only there because they had the budget to do that. I think it's a better
right.
movie if you had like kind of clapped out Dodge Charger and like kind of clapped out Chevelle.
And I also think like for a movie that's called Drive Angry, I think the cars needed to play a bigger role in the plot. Like they're just driving because they have to get somewhere. They're not driving for any other real reason than that. Like they could have done a bigger car chase fight scene where like, he climbs out the window and she has to take the wheel for him and he's fighting with the guy like on top of the car or something. Like, I don't know, just bring something bigger stunt wise into that had
Right.
something to do with the cars. Otherwise, the beginning of the movie, we're shown a ton of shots of this car, close up shots and emblem shots and all. Who cares? The car is gone in the
They
first
got the
scene.
shot of the grill, like the headlight grill opening up.
Yes,
Like,
yeah. It's like why? Like it just seemed so unnecessary to the rest of the movie. Whereas Gone in 60 Seconds is about the cars. That's
Gone
what
in
the
60
movie is
Seconds is a
about.
love letter to the cars. Yeah.
Right.
And they
Right.
are the
They
plot.
they are the plot. Eleanor is treated as if she is a character.
Yeah.
These are just the vehicles they happen to be driving to get where they need to go.
Yeah.
So
True.
they could have been anything. And so to your point, yeah, I think having them be less pristine would have made way more sense.
Agreed.
At least, maybe like the one at the very end where where they go to the guy's shop or whatever, and instead of having a pristine, gorgeous, thing, it's
Like I'm still working on this, but it'll get you where you need to go, that type of thing.
exactly,
And it would
yeah,
make more
maybe
sense from a wrecker yard, that they had this one that was wrecked out there that he's been
mhm,
meaning to restore, and
right.
something
And
like
maybe he's
that.
been working on it, right? And it's missing the hood, or
Right.
something,
You
like,
get the beauty shot of the engine, like the car is kind of junky,
yeah,
but you get a cool engine shot. Yeah, I think that
exactly.
this was a movie from somebody that likes specific cars but doesn't really know much about cars or care about them beyond just like the aesthetic of what the car looks
Yeah.
like.
Well, it just feels like it was forced, like Drive Angry. I don't know what that has to do with the rest of the movie. You could have like, it's about a satanic cult trying to bring hell to Earth, and the whole plot of the movie has nothing to do with cars,
Right. Yeah, it's true.
So it just feels
I
forced.
agree.
All right, well, that's probably it then, I think, for Drive Angry. Let us know your thoughts. You can go to comingofcage.com for all of our links. Don't forget to check out Cajo Bingo. See if we actually got a bingo on this one. I can tell you there's a lot of squares. I'll tell you that much. And I don't know what our next movie is going to be. We have to spin our wheel o cage. You can check that out too. All those videos go up on our YouTube channel, the Derrico Studios YouTube channel, as well as Coming of Cage on our various social media platforms. And you can subscribe to the Coming of Cage podcast on your app of choice and watch the full episodes on the Derrico Studios YouTube channel. Ryan, anything else for Drive Angry?
No, I think we pretty well thoroughly covered it.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will catch you next time.